Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Right, so there's been a topic that has been swirling over the internet, and I like to bring value to the discussion, to the conversation, and chip in a bit of a bit of ideas that can help you navigate and help you transition, make your transition less chaotic when you're moving back home. Some people have been quite happy to be back home. Some people have been finding it a lot difficult. Obviously, there are some people from privileged background whereby their families are established, they have more connection, or perhaps if they don't even work for a number of years, it doesn't really affect them. It doesn't affect their lifestyle. It doesn't affect their day-to-day activities. While some people, they are not in that category, they need to come back, earn a living, and support the family. So I'm going to be giving advice to people that are looking to establish themselves in Nigeria and earn a living as well. Right, so this topic is going to be helpful if you've got a few more months or a year before you move back to Nigeria, because you can plan and strategize. However, if you've already booked your ticket, you can watch it and see if you can learn a few things. Fortunately for you, if you're studying abroad, regardless of the country, hopefully you're not just bringing back your first class, your 2-1 or your 2-2. Hopefully you're bringing back a new way of thinking and international exposure, which is going to set you apart from the competition. Right, so I'm going to talk about your challenges, the barriers you're going to meet in Nigeria, and the solution to these barriers. The mistakes some students in diaspora make is that they only focus strictly on their course. I understand you're there primarily for this certificate. They focus on getting a first class, on getting a 2-2. What you should be aware is that during the summer, on your break, you can actually enroll into minor courses in colleges whereby you can learn things that have nothing to do with your course. I'll get into that into detail much further down the video. Another mistake a lot of the aspirants do is that they live like there is no tomorrow. They go to all the shows, all the basketball shows, all the Davido shows, and everything. They spend a lot of money because there is freedom, and you can hand that money back pretty quickly, because if you're allowed to work part-time, you can within a month you can work and make that money back. So they spend money on clubbing and going to see all these shows. It is not a bad idea to see it once in a while, but you need to plan for the future, especially if your family is not well established and well connected back in Nigeria. I have lived in Nigeria for years and I've lived outside of Nigeria for years, so I know how the system works. Right, so I've put some notes down, and if you see me looking over, I'm looking at some ideas I've put down. The major barrier is that, first of all, the economy is uncertain. Right, the economy is uncertain at this point in time, and employers are careful with employment because they don't want to employ staff if they're not making as much profit. The second barrier is that, unfortunately, some companies prefer to import foreigners, the so-called expats, to do the job that you're well qualified to do. Another barrier, another challenge is that, guess what? You're not the only one with a foreign certificate. There are thousands and thousands and thousands of Nigerians going back home every year with a first class, a 2-1 or a 2-2 from either American University, India, Kenya, somewhere from Europe. A lot of people are studying outside of Nigeria, even Ghana. So you're not the only one. Your certificate might not necessarily stand out. That was why I first mentioned that hopefully you're bringing back with you a new way of thinking and international exposure, something to set you apart. Right, so the solution I would suggest that might be helpful to you is that you need to think outside of the box. You need to think outside of your degree. That was why I mentioned earlier that it will be helpful if you can enroll in a college to do a few skill set courses that are outside of your degree. Say for example you went to France and you learned law. It is important to learn maybe fashion designing, plumbing, regardless of your gender, if you're a man or a woman, something that you could fall back on, because a lot of people in Nigeria currently have gone to universities. They've gone to University of Ibadan, they've gone to University of Lagos, University of Benin, and they haven't got a job. They're sewing clothes, they're fashion designers. Some are even, they've dabbled into construction. So it wouldn't hurt if you have this international, way of doing things. Say you learned plumbing in Germany. Being a German plumber, a certified German plumber, is totally different from a Nigerian plumber. So you need to think outside of the box. If you have a couple of months or a year or so before you think of moving back to Nigeria, go and find these colleges whereby sometimes it's free. You don't need to pay in countries like Germany. Sometimes it's just a little bit more money, like 200 euro. I'm not sure, but you should try and research it. Thinking outside of your degree, thinking outside of the box would help you in the long run. But if you booked your tickets and you haven't got a chance to go to colleges and learn this course, you can also think out, because sitting at home doing nothing is not going to be helpful. You can think about dabbling into areas you've never thought of. Agriculture. You can think about doing business whereby people are outsourcing some manufacturing things for you to produce and manufacture. However, I would say do your research before putting in effort and money. Another thing is this: one aspect whereby your international exposure will come in handy is customer service. This can be your unique selling point in whatever thing you do in Nigeria. Even if you're selling gari by the street, by the roadside, or you're being a tailor, a fashion designer, or whatever, or a mechanic or a plumber, having customer service could potentially drive up your revenue. You could make more money by this specific unique selling point. It is one aspect whereby a lot of Nigerian businesses lack. So you could consider that in whatever business or whatever things, self-employment you might want to consider. Think about your unique selling point. Apart from this product or this service you're offering to the customer, what else can you add in that could add more value, and people will be more willing to patronize you than to patronize someone else? Number one, it could be your other certificate from abroad. This is aside your degree. Let's say you went to learn mechanic job and you have this, you're a qualified mechanic from Germany, from France, from America, and you also have exceptional customer service. That is something I think you should consider. Another thing is this: going back to doing business, there's a lot of entrepreneurs in Nigeria. Like, people are just entrepreneuring left, right, center. You need to sit down and think about a business that is aligned to what you're confident in, to your degree or your skill set. You don't just, a lot of people are selling makeup, bag, wigs. It is porous. The market is porous. You need to sit down and think about a business that you're specialized in. If, for example, you study microbiology or something, or lab or whatever, it might be much more productive to do a business in that aspect than to maybe do what everybody is doing, selling wigs or selling makeup. You might just want to maybe offer services to the lab, to a lab, or maybe sell products that they use in the lab. It's just a suggestion. Another important thing that we all know in Nigeria is networking or connection. Who do you know? Connection takes time. If you're not from an established family that have connection left, right, center, connection takes time. And I think networking takes time. And I think you should dabble into social media as well. You can meet people from social media and develop the connection. It's not just by going to seminars or going to random places to meet people. Social media is a great way to connect, and I think people should use it smartly. You should use social media smartly. Right. The final thing I'll say is that some people might think, oh, going back to Nigeria is nerve-wracking, they are worried, it's a daunting task, because you spent all this money to get all this degree and you're unsure if you're going to get a job. So capital becomes a huge factor. How do you get money to establish, if should in case you don't get employed, how do you get money to establish yourself in Nigeria? Right, I'm going to redirect you to a post on Instagram. It's called Fem Funds. This video is not sponsored. I don't know the people that run this organization, but I have been following them on Instagram for quite a while, and I have actually seen them post testimonials. So I cannot vouch for these people, but I have been following them for a while. I have seen their testimonials and they have been consistent. I'll put the name in the description bar. I'll put it in capital letter. I think the business or the whole thing is a non-for-profit. I think it's a social obligation whereby they loan interest-free funds to upcoming entrepreneurs, and they also train entrepreneurs to make their business sustainable, and you're making profit. So I think this page is worth looking at. Networking with them is worth considering, because there are very few people that are going to this extent to give back to the society. So you can network through social media. You can meet up with these people and talk to them and let them know your ideas. Right, guys, I would say that do not be worried, do not be disheartened about relocating back to Nigeria. There's a lot of people saying they regret it. The thing is this: if you can't, Nigeria is how should I put it? It's taxing. You have to think about it. I think the most important thing is to plan and strategize and think about and talk to people that have actually transitioned and are making it in Nigeria, right? I wish you all the best. If you do enjoy this video, give it a thumbs up, hit the subscribe button, the notification button, and I'll see you in my next video. I hope you move back and it's smoothly and it's not chaotic, you're not regretting it. If you've got any ideas or plans that can help, or people that are back in Nigeria, if you've got any idea that can help a new returnee, please leave it in the comment section and let us keep this conversation rolling. See you in my next video. Bye, guys.